Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our new moon in Virgo ceremony. I'm so excited to be here with all of you. And, we're right at this moment where things are about to shift in a good way, but it might not feel that way right now. It might feel like there's still a lot that's up in the air. It might feel like you're still processing things that have happened. So, if you're new to my work, my name is Mermaid, and I teach feminine energy with the magic of the mermaids of Sirius. And you can learn more about me in the description below. But if you're just joining, feel free to say hello. Let me know how you're doing, how your day is going. I want to hear from you. Say hello in the chat. Today, we're going to be talking all about the energy of the new moon in Virgo. We're going to be receiving some activations from the mermaids of Sirius, and we're just going to be kind of decompressing from everything that has taken place over the last few months. Hi, Leah. Good to see you. Welcome. So, I'm so happy to have you guys here, either live or on the replay. And I'm even more excited about the Equinox ceremony that's taking place next week on September 22nd. And we're going to be diving really deep in harvesting all of the amazing gifts that we cultivated in the Lionsgate portal that we didn't get a chance to really dive into because we've been in all this retrograde energy. So Venus just went direct last week, and it barely just started to move out of 12 degrees forward. So we're still feeling that. We have so many of the outer planets in retrograde right now. Literally, we have more planets in retrograde than planets that are not in retrograde. So what does that mean? It means that we're doing a lot of internal work. We're really switching things up in our introspection, in our inner reality. But when we're doing internal work, sometimes it's going to feel a little bit challenging because we're not necessarily seeing a lot of external changes that are happening just yet in our outer reality. And sometimes that can feel disappointing, right? So feel free to share in the chat if you've been experiencing obstacles or setbacks or anything that has caused you just to kind of have a difficult time believing. That's sort of the message that I was getting for this new moon in Virgo, is that this is our opportunity to set an intention to believe again, to believe in the universe, to believe in ourselves, to believe in our power as infinite creators, to believe in the divine plan of spirit. Because we were in Venus retrograde for so long, and then you add that Mercury retrograde, it's almost like we get so used to a certain reality that it feels like that's just how it is. That's just how it's going to be, right? And we almost get used to feeling disappointed. So what we need to do is we need to have that awareness that it's almost as if neural pathways have been created within this time period that are duplicating and creating this feeling of disappointment. So how do we get out of this? The first thing that we have to do is we have to acknowledge what's happening. We have to acknowledge that we've been in a space of disappointment. And then we have to acknowledge that there are feelings that need to be felt. I taught a fitness class this morning, and on my way home, I was driving, and it's just all of a sudden, all of these tears just started to fall. And I'm like, what am I sad about? Really? Like, I couldn't pinpoint like one thing, but what was coming to me is that it was like all of the emotions over the past few months that didn't get to be felt. It's like now we're starting to move out of this period. Hi, Betsy, good to see you. Where, we have a little bit more spaciousness, but in that spaciousness, we have to honor that there are emotions that need to be seen, that need to be witnessed, that need to be acknowledged. There's hurt that needs to be honored. And yes, we are moving into bigger and better things, and there's amazing new beginnings that are in store for all of us. And it's okay to not feel it right now. And it's okay to feel disappointed. It's okay to have a hard time finding that belief again. This is a collective energy that we're all moving out of. So Virgo itself is an earth sign, and it really represents this ability to kind of sift through energy or material or whatever it is and figure out what's usable, figure out what's good, and kind of figure out what's not useful, what's not helpful. So that's sort of what we need to do as we're heading into this new moon and in this lunar cycle over the next 28 days. We've got to figure out what in our life is still supporting us, is still useful, is still benefiting us in some way, whether those be situations or people or circumstances or actual like material things that we have in our home or our cars or our workplaces. And we've got to figure out like what is not usable anymore, what's not helpful, what's not beneficial, what's not valuable. And I really want to emphasize this word valuable because we have this really gorgeous energy with this new moon. We have this grand trine with the sun and Uranus and the moon. And Uranus is in Taurus right now. So over these past few years with Uranus and Taurus, we've really been shifting our perception on all these Taurian themes, on self-esteem, on values, on money and prosperity, on comfort, on what we find beautiful. And so this new moon in Virgo is an opportunity to kind of harvest these seeds and bring new life, new awakening into these areas. And a lot of it is going to really it's really going to be determined by how willing we are to value ourselves, not how we want to be, not how we wish we were, not how we wish life was, but in this moment, exactly as we are, exactly how things are. How can we value ourselves and love ourselves now? So, in this new moon energy, we have an opportunity to set intentions for what we want to create as all of these retrogrades are completing, whether it be wanting to move or wanting to change jobs or, wanting to cultivate a new relationship or personal development work or learning new areas of study, whatever it is, we have this green light now to start moving forward. But we also have to remember that we're still in a shadow season. So things are going to start to pick up, but we're not really going to see the full scope of where we're headed probably until mid to late October. So that means we really need to be mindful of our expectations because expectations are often what leads to disappointment. And we also really need to be patient and trust in the divine timing of the universe. We need to trust that if something isn't happening, there's a very good reason. And if something feels blocked or it's stalled, there's also a very good reason. And absolutely, you can have your feelings. You can be disappointed when it feels like, things aren't moving as quickly as you'd like, or if it feels like you're headed towards an open door and then the door starts to close, or you get redirected, or you're just being asked to wait. It's not easy for us as humans to wait. We want things now. But we also have to understand that in order for us to call in the things that we desire, we have to become a match to receive them. We have to become the version of us that could not only receive that thing, but stay in the vibration of holding it, of keeping it without self-sabotaging it or pushing it away. And I've had that experience in my own life recently where, I've had to deal with so many different heartbreaks over the past few months and the past few years, really. And I had to ask myself, like, if the thing that I wanted was in front of me, would I even be able to accept it? Or would I still be trying to see through all of these limiting beliefs, causing me to question it, to push it away, to feel suspicious of it, right? And that's okay to have all of those human feelings. But the thing is that oftentimes, divine timing is exactly how it's supposed to be because we've got to work through that stuff. We've got to upgrade. We've got to do the personal work that's required to become the version of ourselves that is able and willing to receive the desires of our heart. So I'm going to be pulling some cards today from my deck, the Mermaid Empowerment Oracle. Now, this deck is now available for purchase. I didn't get a chance to put the link in yet for how to purchase that, but you can just go to my website, meganmermaid.com, and on the navigation bar, right at the top, it says the deck. You can click on that link and it will take you to the page that talks a little bit more about this really powerful deck that was channeled, the artistry, the transmissions, all of it has been channeled from my High Council, the Mermaids of Sirius, over the past 7 years, I believe. So it's really monumental that it's finally available and that you can have your own copy. If you do have a copy of the Mermaid Empowerment Oracle, feel free to let us know in the chat. The printing company that I'm working with right now, it doesn't let me know who purchases it. So it's kind of like a big mystery, like where they're going right now. But all right, so I'm going to pull a star spread for the new moon and just kind of go over like how to approach these energies right now and how to cultivate this feeling of belief, when we've just been in this space of transition and darkness, this cocoon phase for a really long time. I wonder sometimes, like, if we were a seed and we had been planted, everything has a consciousness. Do you ever wonder if like there's a moment where that seed questions its purpose, its existence, if the seed has any idea that it will bloom one day, that it will become a flower or a plant or whatever it is, a tree. And I feel like we're in that stage, we're in that seed stage. And the beautiful thing about the process of blooming and growing is that seed has to break apart. It has to transform. It has to become something else. And so there's a lot of surrender in that process. Mariella is sharing, hi, beautiful Megan, sending love from Toronto. Thanks, Mariella, for being here. Hi, Julie. Good to see you. I know Julie has one of the mermaid decks, which is really great. Okay. So let's see what's going on here. Okay, this is some good energy. So the first card that we have today is Crown Yourself. And the Mermaid Empowerment for Crown Yourself is I crown myself as the star of my reality. So that means that we've got to put on the crown. We've got to step into our king or queen archetype and begin to rule over our life. We've got to figure out what needs to shift and what needs to change. Now, there's this dance when it comes to the energy of free will, where there are certain themes and flows that are happening within the planet, within collective consciousness, that we don't have control over, but we do have control over how we respond to them and how we show up, and the way that we design our character and our character's situations. So this card, Crown Yourself, is basically just saying that it's up to us to decide that we are worthy, to decide that we are able, that we are worth all of the things that we want to create. That's where that value comes in. And one of the things that's really powerful about this new moon and all of the good, harmonious Uranian energy is that we have an opportunity to get flashes of insight or epiphanies of things that we may not have been aware of in the past. Perhaps it's a blind spot that we had where we want to make a change, but we didn't see how. We didn't see that there was another path. Perhaps we could only see that it was this option or this option, and neither of those options looked very enticing. But this Uranian energy is kind of like paving the way for us to see things in a different light, for us to see a door that we may not have seen there before, or perhaps come back to something that maybe we pushed away or thought wasn't right for us at the time, but actually is the thing now, could actually work. But it all depends upon our ability to crown ourselves and recognize that we are worthy simply because we're a fractal of God consciousness, that we have a birthright, a divine birthright to prosper and to enjoy this earth experience. Oh, hi, Elizabeth. Good to see you. I love all of the love and the mermaid emojis that you're putting into the chat. So, how do we crown ourselves? How do we step onto this throne of our personal power when it feels like all of these situations outside of us can kind of bring us down or feel disempowering in many ways? And we have the card generosity. So the mermaid empowerment for generosity is whatever I want, I give away. And really, generosity is one of the most powerful forces in the universe. There's an idea about philanthropy that we can only give when we have enough, right? People often think like, oh, well, once I have more, I can give. But that's not how it works. We need to be in this constant state of giving and receiving. And if we're always giving, we're always going to be receiving back. And it doesn't mean we're necessarily going to receive back from the same source that we gave, but we've got to trust that when we give with no strings attached, when we give from our heart, whatever we have, whether it's our time or our energy or a listening ear or our compassion or our skills or abilities, when we give those freely, the universe will always bless us, will always take care of us. And, we'll receive the miracles that we need when we need them because we're in that state of flow. So if you feel in any way that, something feels stagnant or blocked in your life, whether it is financially or in other areas. Time is another one where oftentimes we feel like we don't have enough time. But if we're giving of our time, if we're giving of what we do have, we'll notice that those areas that feel stuck or stagnant will start to move. So the challenge that we have for this new moon is interesting: self-love. And the mermaid empowerment for self-love is I love the fins I'm in. So feel free to share in the chat if you've had a difficult journey with self-love over the past few months. In Venus retrograde, all things love and beauty were sort of up for review. And oftentimes when we're doing these deep dives with Venusian energies, we'll start to sit with those shadows of self-doubt or self-criticism, and that inner critic may start to get louder. So know that if you felt in any way like it's more difficult to practice that self-love, then you're not alone. We're moving out of that, but we also have to just acknowledge that it's not this perfect thing where like one day you decide to love yourself and you never look back. It's an art, it's a practice. And there's going to be moments where we feel really good, and then maybe even just a moment or two later we'll have fear thoughts, or we'll start to judge ourselves, or think about the past or ruminate on things that happened. And in those moments we just have to acknowledge and become aware of that pattern, and then just shift it. And it's just this constant observation of what we're thinking and how that thought is making us feel. And if it's not making us feel good, if it's not making us feel nourished or empowered, we can simply choose another thought. We don't have to make ourselves wrong for having that thought. We can simply be grateful that the thought is now becoming aware, because most of the time, we have over 60,000 thoughts a day. 60,000 thoughts a day. And most of those are subconscious. We're not even aware of what's happening. It's just like this movie screen with like little pictures, commercials that are going all day long in the back of our awareness. Well, we're out living our lives and working and spending time with our partners and our children and, whatever we're doing, running our errands. And these thoughts are happening all of the time, most of them on autopilot. So even just the simple fact of beginning to notice and observe and become aware of the thoughts that you're thinking that's that's the work. That's where we become empowered and where we crown ourselves and step on the throne of our personal power. It's through our thought work. So, our correct action for this moon is worthiness, which I had just been sharing about just a moment ago. And I feel like worthiness and shame are, or excuse me, unworthiness and shame are sort of synonymous, right? So, if we're feeling shameful, or we're feeling unworthy, it's a very similar vibration. There's a part of us that feels like I'm not good enough, there's something wrong with me. And the difference, I believe it was Brene Brown who said that the difference between like guilt and shame is that guilt is I did something bad. And shame is this energy of I am bad. And so unworthiness is sort of similar to that feeling of shame, like there's something wrong with me. Um, and, you know, the way that we start to shift that is to understand that it's almost as like all of the shadows, all of the challenges that we go through, if we recognize that one, it's not personal, it's collective. We've all inherited these wounds. We've inherited the unworthiness. We've inherited the shame. Like it's literally a part of our DNA from the moment that we're conceived till the moment that we're born. It's in our ancestral DNA. And as we are a fractal of God consciousness in human form, our human body, it actually, we inherit this collective shadow. So when we start to see that, it's almost like if you were to purchase a car and it was a used car and maybe it had a ding, or there's like a notification light that something's wrong, and you can still drive the car, it's your car, but you and the car are separate. The car is the vehicle. So I want you to start to see that your body and your human form is like a car that your soul is driving. So this shadow and these wounds that we have, it comes with the vehicle, right? It's something that we've taken on, we've adopted, and it's our job to sort of begin to cultivate and transmute, but it's not who we are. And the more that we start to separate the collective shadow that we've inherited as a human from our worthiness as God in human form, this idea of worthiness is going to become easier to accept. So Julie's sharing with your help, I've started to see the meaning of my life and what it means to love yourself. Thank you for everything. Thank you, Julie. It's been such an honor to see you blossom and bloom in so many ways and step into your divine feminine power and leadership. So thank you so much. It's such an honor. So we have the card Pearl here for other possibilities. And the Mermaid Empowerment for Pearl is I'm willing to see the pearl of wisdom. So the way that we can move through suffering and transform it into beauty and creativity, which is really our job as we embrace and embody this energy of mermaid consciousness, it's all about harvesting our pearls. This word harvest is very, very synonymous with Virgo energy and the Equinox energy, which I'm going to be diving deeper into in our Equinox ceremony next week. But so when you start to look at everything in your life and realize that it's teaching you something, that there's a message, there's a lesson. And oftentimes we're going to have to go through the same experience. Well, not the same experience, but we're going to go through a similar theme, a similar pattern, whether it's with different people or different situations. Underneath the pattern and the theme and the lesson is the same. We'll have to go through it again and again and again. And we've already gone through it again and again and again in many other lifetimes. All of this happening simultaneously in quantum reality. So we have to understand that when we stop making ourselves wrong for getting it wrong, and instead we start to get curious about, what is this situation teaching me? Why did I experience this rejection? Why did I experience this heartbreak? Why did this door close? Why am I experiencing this health ailment? Why is my loved one acting this way? We start to ask the why. And the why, it's always going to tell you what that situation or person is mirroring or reflecting back to you in relation to your own self love. So, this is work that can actually be fun and enjoyable when instead of approaching it with shame, we approach it with curiosity, we approach it with joy, with playfulness. And so, finally, the synthesis of all of this information today is open heart. And the mermaid empowerment for open heart is I am in harmony with my heart. And so that's really how we can start to move through all of the difficulties and the ebbs and the flows and the challenges of this human experience is by letting our heart navigate everything. You know, when you're in your mind, when you start to feel anxious or worried, or you're kind of spinning out and thinking, well, what if I did this? Or what if I did that? And what if I did that? You know, you're in your heart when there's just this sense of spaciousness. And it's something that you're going to have to practice and cultivate, learning to develop a relationship with your heart. Ask what your heart is telling you, what your heart is guiding you to do. But oftentimes we'll get this intuitive hit of like, oh, I should do this, or, this opportunity or whatever it is it feels good, right? We'll get that moment of insight, of epiphany. And then the fear thoughts come after, where we start to question it. Is it possible? Am I worthy enough for this? Whatever it is. So we've got to also recognize that, our heart is really processing so much all of the time, and it's very easy to want to close our hearts, especially if we've been hurt in the past, and think like, oh, I just don't want to go through that again, so I'm just not going to date anymore, or I'm just not going to put myself out there, or I'm not going to create, or I'm not going to apply for another position because whatever did not work out in the past was a lot. And we've got to honor that. We've got to work through the difficult emotions for the situations or opportunities or relationships that ended or shifted in some way. Especially many of those may have ended abruptly over the past few months. We've got to feel that. But we've also got to make the choice. It is a choice to choose to keep our heart open no matter what, even if we do temporarily get hurt, even if we do get taken advantage of in some ways by having that open heart. It's still the only way to live, because if you're choosing to live without an open heart, you're going to experience this sense of hollowness, of mediocrity, of not truly being alive. And we didn't come all this way to live a half life. We came to live fully embodied in the totality of the human experience. So, before we move into our short little intention setting ceremony and activation, I just want to open the chat again if anyone has any questions, if anyone would like to share anything. And again, we're going to be doing this very powerful equinox ceremony next week, September 22nd at 11 a.m. And you can find that link in the description below. And this equinox ceremony, equinoxes and solstices are the portals of consciousness that happen throughout the year, 4 times a year, where we step into this new chapter. And this specific equinox is a portal of transmutation. It's this moment where we're harvesting all of the lessons, the pearls of diving so deep into the inner realms of our heart, of our shadow, of all of the work that we've done, all of the things that we've had to let go of, all of the waiting, all of the sacrifices that we've had to make over these last few months in this retrograde season. This particular equinox is very powerful because it's almost as if we're giving all of the sacrifice and the suffering and the pain, and we're planting it so that it can bloom into these really beautiful, expansive opportunities in our lives that would not have been possible had we not gone through this deep dive of introspection and preparation. So this new moon is the beginning spark of that. Like you might begin to see a glimmer of what's ahead of you. But again, I'm really emphasizing this word belief. We've got to believe beyond a shadow of a doubt that the best is yet to come, that we're worthy of good things, and that good things are still on the way. Hi, Richard. Good to see you. All right, so let's go ahead and step into just a space of collective co-creation. You know, new moons are a time where we set the blueprint for the next lunar cycle. So for the next 28 days, the next 4 weeks, we get to choose how we want to approach this. And that's why intention setting is so powerful, because it gives us this opportunity to map out how we're going to experience the themes of this month. And so when we choose to do this in a group energy, our intentions become amplified, they become heightened. And so I would love for all of you to feel free to share in the chat, what are your new moon intentions? What would you like to call in? You can make it specific. Perhaps it's a word that you just want to bring in. Maybe this month you want to feel peace. Maybe you want to feel groundedness. Maybe you want to feel joy. Maybe that's something that's been lacking over the past few months. Maybe you want to feel balance. Everything is felt all over the place. Maybe you felt scattered and you want to feel focused. So feel free to write in the chat what your intention is for this month, and know, and also if you're watching on the replay, share it in the comments and know that we're cultivating this group energy, and that oftentimes what we're calling in is very similar to what other people are calling in. Or maybe it's something that you didn't even think of before and someone else mentions it and you're like, oh yeah, I'll take that too. So it's almost like we have this we can see it almost like we have this fire in the center of this little group field that we're creating in the highest vibrations of love, truth, healing, and peace, of the highest timeline, highest good of all, and the highest frequency of love. So in this beautiful container of light that we're creating as a group, we're just throwing things into this cauldron, this fire that's brewing for what we want to bring in. And then we can always say this or something better, so that things that we didn't think of can be added to it. So awesome. Richard is sharing flow. I absolutely love that idea. I love that. I want miracles this month. I feel like all of us could use more miracles. So just feel free to continue to share in the chat what you want to call in, even if it's just one word. Sometimes one word is like really powerful. Yeah, Richard is sharing ease. Thank you, Richard, for your participation and getting it started. Ease is something that we could all definitely use. You know, why do it the hard way? Especially if it's, you know, something that we've done a certain way for a really long time. Sometimes we get stuck in patterns of just making things harder than they need to be. Ooh, Julie's sharing goals. I love that. I love that. You know, and getting on track with our goals again. It was interesting. I was sharing with Leah, who's on the call here, that, you know, I thought with Mercury retrograde in Virgo that it would be a time where I would be really focused and I would get a lot of things done. And that didn't seem to be the case. It felt like this retrograde period that I had less energy and less motivation. But again, it's because we've been doing so much internal work that oftentimes we don't have a lot of energy to complete those things that would normally be happening in a regular retrograde season. So we also have to kind of honor that if we haven't got as much done over the past few months, we've been doing a lot of inner work that's just as valuable. Betsy's sharing joy, love, and new horizons. Ooh, I love that. And I really see that visual of, like, you know, that sunrise that's coming up, like this brand new day, this brand new beginning. Okay, so we're just going to visit the mermaids of Sirius in their powerful cove just to receive some blessings and ease. Kim Thompson is sharing cleansing. I love that. That's so powerful, especially, you know, being a new moon in Virgo. Virgo is all about cleansing. It's all about purification. Betsy's sharing, I've been suffering with tons and I think you meant did you mean sleepiness? I had a hard time reading that word, Betsy. That might have been a typo, but I think you mean sleeplessness or being sleepy, extra sleepy. Either way, yeah, let's just bring this energy in of vitality. Yeah, Elizabeth is sharing world healing, and I love that. I love that intention. So let's just close our eyes and we're just going to get a brief little activation with the mermaids of Sirius today. So, you may begin to visualize and imagine that this beautiful white light directly from source consciousness begins to descend like a dove of peace, and it flows like a waterfall through your crown chakra and your third eye and your throat and your heart and your solar plexus and your sacral chakra, your root chakra, all the way down to your feet. And this light begins to pour out of your crown chakra, creating a bubble of white light around you. And this bubble of white light begins to shift and change into pinks and purples and blues and greens. And we're now being surrounded by the rainbow light energy of Sirius that will support us in our travels today. And we call in the Celtic spiral above us and below us in the north, south, east, and west. And we call in our beautiful pyramid of light. And we welcome in the Celtic sovereignty goddesses, the Egyptian queens, Isis, Hathor, and Sekhmet. We welcome in the mermaids of Sirius. We welcome in all of our beautiful guides and angels. You're welcome to call in any guides that you work with. So long as they come in the highest vibrations of love, truth, healing, and peace, everyone is welcome in this space. So now my etheric body is stepping out of my body into the room with you and gently pulling your etheric body out of your body. And a stargate begins to appear above our head, 6 feet in diameter, whirling and whizzing in lapis blue and golden light. And we are taken up, up, up across dimensional frequencies and realities. Up across stars, planets, and galaxies. Up. And the elevator doors open. And we begin to walk through all of this really beautiful, almost like turquoise and pink and purple mist. So it's like all of these three colors are intertwined. And as we begin to walk through this mist, we step out upon this beautiful shore. And when we look around us, we are now in Sirius B in one of the beautiful mermaid coves that are home to the mermaids of Sirius. And so as you begin to look around you, you can see all of these really beautiful waterfalls and palm trees and pinks and purples and yellows and neon greens, and the electric blue water of Sirius is just flowing in such a peaceful, gorgeous way. And as you look above you, you may see this starry night sky, and just, allow yourself to take a moment to bask in the radiance of this space. You might begin to see this really soft crescent moon that is above us, representing the energy of this new moon in Virgo. And so, as you begin to walk on this shore into the water, just begin to feel that you are now shifting and transforming into your mermaid or merman form. And you might begin to feel just this release of energy as this high frequency space is cleansing you and clearing you. And we're doing a practice now, which is called mind mapping. So our consciousness is going to be able to come back to this space at any moment to feel that higher frequency of peace and clarity and joy and potentiality. So this awareness can then be taken into the lower, denser forms and allow us to keep that seed of clarity and peace and prosperity within us as we kind of can get stuck in the denseness of the third dimension and forget those feelings. So just allow yourself to swim in these waters and feel the playfulness and the freedom that's available. And you might begin to see the mermaids of Sirius are beginning to swim around us, and they're singing in their beautiful light language and just, expressing so much joy and so many blessings. And so it begins to rain. And these beautiful waters of Sirius are cleansing us. They're purifying us. They're allowing us to really drink the energies in this water that are supporting us in creating a more open heart, an open heart to not only accept and believe that things are possible, but to allow ourselves to receive them with an open heart. And so I want you to just take a moment in this space, this beautiful, multidimensional mermaid space, and feel into how you want to feel this month. You know, apart from whatever specific things you want to call in, think of 1 to 3 words that describe a feeling within your body that you want to cultivate. So maybe that feeling is just ease or flow, like some of us had shared in the chat. Maybe it's a feeling of joy. Maybe it's a feeling of inspiration or motivation or creativity or love or intoxication or enrichment or just allow that mind, your higher mind, to call in 1 to 3 words that really describe a feeling that feels very true for you in this moment. And I want you to take a moment to just breathe into those words and allow those words almost to fly into your consciousness. I'm seeing them flying in almost like butterflies or hummingbirds, and they're beginning to fly into every cell of your DNA and kind of just lighten the energy, lighten the the essence of you, to bring in this feeling, this deep embodiment, this presence of those feelings. And know that as you take this moment to breathe into this feeling, that no matter what is arising, no matter what happens throughout the month, no matter what challenges, no matter what setbacks, no matter what fear thoughts arise, that underneath that, you are crowning yourself. You are sitting on the throne of your personal power, and you are deeming yourself worthy enough to feel this unshakable self-worth, unshakable self-love, because you are a keeper of God consciousness, and your journey, your light, your everything is so important, so valuable, so needed. And so, as you are just beginning to cultivate and feel the energy of these words permeating your beingness, take a moment in your mermaid or merman form to kind of just shake. And you might even want to do this at home, where you just sort of shake. You're shaking your hands, your body, and it's almost like you're just shaking off any old stuck energy. This might be something that you want to even do later on today after our time together. It's kind of just stand and imagine you're just shaking off all of this stuff that's been kind of holding you, that's been present in your auric field, that's not yours to carry anymore. Just shake that stuff off and know that it's almost as if I'm seeing this candle, this very, very soft flicker of a flame, of a candle within your heart. And that throughout this month, write these words down, contemplate these words that came to you, and imagine that as you begin to bring in the vibration of these words, that this candle within your heart, this flame within your heart, will begin to grow brighter and brighter and brighter. And it will begin to lift your vibration and magnetize the beautiful situations and experiences and relationships that match your energy now. Not the energy of the you that had to dive deep into the shadow work and may have caused you to forget your worth or forget your power or forget your sovereignty. The you now, in this moment, in this high frequency space of Sirius. So just begin to put your hands over your heart and just say these affirmations out loud, or you can say them in your mind if that feels more comfortable for your awareness. And we're just going to say the empowerments that that we were given for this new moon. And first, we're going to say the one for belief, because even though we did not choose that card, it is an overall theme as we step into this lunar cycle. So we're just going to repeat these statements, these mermaid empowerments, so they can begin to be activated within our consciousness. And the first one for belief is, I believe it and receive it. I believe it and receive it. I believe it and receive it. And now we're going to bring in the energy and the empowerment to crown ourselves. So we're going to say 3 times, I crown myself as the star of my reality. I crown myself as the star of my reality. I crown myself as the star of my reality. Generosity. Whatever I want, I give away. Whatever I want, I give away. Whatever I want, I give away. Self-love. I love the fins I'm in. I love the fins I'm in. I love the fins I'm in. Worthiness. I am worthy and deserving of my dreams. I am worthy and deserving of my dreams. I am worthy and deserving of my dreams. Pearl. I am willing to see the pearl of wisdom. I am willing to see the pearl of wisdom. I am willing to see the pearl of wisdom. Open heart. I am in harmony with my heart. I am in harmony with my heart. I am in harmony with my heart. So just take a moment to breathe and allow these empowerments to begin to circulate within your conscious awareness and begin to integrate and activate within the very cells of your DNA. Activating a deeper embodiment of mermaid consciousness within you now, greater levels of bliss, playfulness, creativity, joy, ingenuity, freshness. And the mermaids of Sirius are just beginning to surround you again with their final blessings and just gratitude for you and your willingness to embody this consciousness, which is so needed on the planet at this time. And a stargate begins to appear above our head, and we are taken up, up, up across dimensional frequencies and realities, up, up, up across stars, planets, and galaxies, up, 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 and the elevator doors open, and we step back into the room that we're seated in. So your etheric body steps back into your body, and my etheric body steps back into mine, and the sacred space is now closed. And so just take a moment to wiggle your fingers and your toes and come back to this moment, come back to this space, and feel free to share in the chat the words that you received, anything else that came to you in this moment. We have an opportunity to celebrate each other and witness each other. Elizabeth is sharing Sirius Beast, our sister here. Richard is sharing that comfort came to him. And fun. Ooh, I love that. You're welcome, Richard. Marielle is sharing, I would like to have unshakable faith in the universe support and for the universe to support my own creative abilities. Miracles would be great too. I love that. Yes to all of those things. And again, for those of you who would like to be a part of this equinox ceremony, we are going to be doing that next week, and you can purchase your ticket in the link in bio. But as always, I do a giveaway for every live, and so I'm going to be giving away 1 seat for this particular ceremony. So if you would like to be considered for today's giveaway, simply just write your name and where you're located in the chat, and I will choose one of you beautiful souls today, and then you'll just email me and I can get you all set up with a ticket to that ceremony. You're welcome, Betsy. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everyone that has been live or is watching on the replay. And thank you so much for, just sharing your heart and your energy and everything that we get to create together, this really beautiful moment that we get to carve out amidst all of the busyness and the responsibilities and sometimes the overwhelm of our life. It's just so beautiful when we have these moments to pause and come together in sacred ceremony. So I'm going to give everybody just an opportunity for those who would like to participate in today's giveaway. Simply just write your name and your location in the chat. And again, if you are interested in purchasing the Mermaid Empowerment Oracle deck, it comes with 44 all channeled visionary art images that I received from the Mermaids of Sirius. It also includes the 120-page guidebook that is really arguably my first book. It includes transmissions and information about each of the 44 empowerments, as well as how to read for yourself and others, how to consecrate your deck, invocations to embody mermaid consciousness, and just really powerful information, especially if you're new to divination, which is a word to describe reading cards or anything else where we have a physical tool for our higher self to communicate with us. So yay, let's see. I'll give you guys just a moment more for anyone that wants to participate in this giveaway today for the Equinox ceremony. Oh, Jerry. I don't know where I got Jerry. Julie is sharing. This deck is so powerful. Okay, you guys, I'm starting to malfunction. I can't read the comments. Have so beautiful, positive, and loving energy. Thank you, Julie. I'm just so grateful to have you all here. Okay. So, yay, awesome. And so, just a couple more moments here. If anyone else wants to participate in today's giveaway for the Equinox ceremony, and if you'd like to purchase your tickets, you can do so. And I also forgot to mention that for anybody that purchases a Galactic Channeled Reading in the month of September, so it doesn't mean that you have to book your session in the month of September, but if you purchase a Galactic Channeled Reading in the month of September, then you will receive a ticket to the Equinox ceremony free as my gift. So yay, Leah's sharing. I love my Mermaid Oracle deck so much. Awesome. So today our beautiful mermaid winner of the Equinox ceremony is Kim Thompson from Alabama. So congratulations, Kim. And you can just email me and I will make sure to add you to that so that you receive all of the login details for next week. And again, for those of you that would like to be a part of that ceremony next week, all you have to do is visit that link in bio or the link in the description, and you can join us, and there's a replay available if you can't join live. Elizabeth, wonderful. I love that you'd like to purchase a deck. So I will be adding the link for that once I end for today. I'll be putting it in the description. But if you go to my website, meganmermaid.com, at the very top navigation bar, there is a little drop down that says the deck. You click on the deck and it takes you to the page that has all of the information of how to purchase the deck. And again, I'll put that link in after I end today. So thank you guys so much for being here, and happy new moon, blessings. And I hope to see you next week for our Equinox ceremony. Have a great day.